On Wednesday, February 28, the council chamber in Edison became a battleground as residents voiced their opposition to the proposed establishment of cannabis recreational facilities in the neighborhood. Ordinance 2211-2024 ignited a firestorm of controversy, dividing council members and sparking public outcry. Within the council, opinions were split, with some members advocating for the economic benefits and personal freedoms associated with cannabis legalization, while others expressed concerns about potential negative impacts on the community. However, it was the residents who took center stage, expressing their fears about the potential consequences of cannabis shops in their neighborhood. Their sentiments were echoed by thousands who signed online protest petitions, amplifying the call to halt the ordinance. Interviews with residents revealed a spectrum of emotions from frustration to determination. The rally named Stop the Pot symbolized the collective efforts of Edison residents to resist the planned intrusion of cannabis shops. Take a look.
We definitely want our Edison safe for our kids and the teenagers, and this ordinance should be not only withdrawn, it should be just taken out. And in the future also, we don't want this ordinance to get tabled at all, because it's the future of our next generation. And because of this, if they are saying that they are getting more revenue, this shouldn't be compared to the more revenue, because earning more revenue is not equal to the future of our next generation.
So it's not just the future about kids in Edison, it's about all over United States, right?
Yes.
And who do you think is responsible for this ordinance?
Everybody who is thinking great for the United States, they should come and they should oppose this and they should vote for this ordinance.
Would you blame the current administration for this?
It's all cumulative effects. It's not just one person's fault or one party who is ruling. It's not just their fault. It's a cumulative effect. But definitely, administration has something in their hands which they can do to improve the situation.
Using this ordinance to get a cannabis shop set up in Edison. There are around 100 no's still outside, maybe 500 no's inside, so there's absolutely no yes, but we just want to make sure that it is heard very, very loudly that this ordinance just doesn't make sense to even be tabled or proposed.
It should not be tabled, it should be scrapped. That's it. There is no future. Right now they say they're going to table it, delay it. That's not like they're going to try to bring it back in summer or later. No, that's not an option.
They see the future in 24 other states, but
my
you want
friend,
to oppose it here.
My friend lives at the Thomas River, and he tells me when he goes to the mall, he can smell it. Is that what we want our kids to smell?
You can smell it in NYC
yeah.
also.
In New York City, the dogs are getting dizzy because of this. Because people are throwing marijuana after using it. What effect it's going to have to our kids? Okay, they can have memory loss, right? It's going to dysfunction their body. That's not an option. It needs to be completely scrapped. That's it.
Hello. My name is Sheen Arathur. I live in North Edison here. Been here since 2012. I'm here to oppose this ordinance about spreading cannabis in residential areas in our town. We were told 2 years back by these people whom we elected that these dispensaries are going to be only in the industrial areas, by the Edison convention center and those kind of places. And we were told categorically here in the same room when we came and opposed that time that it's not going to spread beyond those areas, right? And now within 2 years we know that they are going to spread it more closer to residential areas. So what's next? Are they going to, 2 years from now, is going to come like ice cream trucks, ringing bells in front of our house? This thing has to stop, right? And these people whom we have elected to represent our wishes are going against what they promised us. They are taking a U-turn. If this kind of thing happens, 4 years from now, these people won't be sitting in these chairs.
You elected the wrong people, somebody would say that, right?
Huh?
The elections are coming. You elected the wrong administration, wrong people.
I don't know whether we
you
elected,
have another chance. For this
yes, exactly. We expected them to represent us, and they are going against their own word, right? So I think if they don't scrap this ordinance, they are not going to be sitting in a chair.
Thank you, Council President. When the meeting started, I was really unhappy because we really were murdering the democracy and the process of our work session. But anyway, I think, based on my last 8-9 years, this is the highest number of residents, taxpayers who care the community came to this council chamber.
They came for nothing.
That shows how sensitive this issue is to the residents and to the taxpayers.
You don't care about it. Yes.
I think, this was an attempt when we started this. I called this and I said, this is undemocratic. This was an attempt to choke the residents' right, but I'm happy to see that, residents will get time to speak. So here are my pointers here. Thank you to board president and the entire Board of Education for passing the resolution and sending it to the council. So we are also equally serious about this issue. The reason I'm saying that, in fact, this council should be more cognizant about the impact of any ordinance that we approve or we put this on agenda. And the reason I'm thanking Board of Ed, they took initiative to send it back to us. In fact, it should have been other way around. Coming back to the ordinance itself, when we introduced the ordinance, I was very clear that this ordinance is detrimental to the community at large. This is not about South Edison, North Edison, Clara Barton. We have to think through the impact of this ordinance and cannabis spread throughout the town and the impact on our school system. The people who move into this town, this is because of the great school system, because of the great neighborhood. It's a safe town, and we love this town. And this ordinance has been creating a detrimental effect. The last council meeting, I'm not mentioning the Monday's meeting, but the last one, all the council people gave their own, I would say, the speech or their comment why they are supporting this ordinance. I don't think they ever thought what's the impact, the long-term impact. We are talking about the revenue, we are talking about the access, and even I said that we will be getting, there will be facility in Metatron drive-through, that is in Highland Park, there will be in South Plainfield, there is already in one Woodbridge. The current zone that we picked, that was the reason for that it is far away from the residential neighborhood, it is far away from the school system, and we are still honoring the people who wanted the cannabis in the town. So we did what we could do as this council. But what this change, all these zones were discussed 3 years ago, and we kind of came out again, I have Councilman Brescher, we said this is dead wrong. We can't put this into the neighborhoods where we have the dense population. Whether good or bad, Edison real estate is at peak. We have very dense community. You go anywhere, you see many, many people, right? So it is not that we have 1 mile stretch that no one is living. We are very dense community. It's a community that cares our neighborhood. So the reason, again, you all have to come here is because there is a lack of representation. We keep talking about, hey, you have the council. Unfortunately, if you look at all the locations on this ordinance are from 08817 zip code. And I don't think the council person or the council, that neighborhood is represented well. So maybe this is a trigger point for us to look at the ward so that this council will have more members from the South Edison who can represent their voices. Again, I'm not saying that who should come, who should not, and who has what position on this particular, but I think this is, the moment that, the people have to think about. Do we need the representation from the South Edison to represent their interest? When I said that, I'm at large, so it's my interest to protect everyone, regardless, South, North, or Clara Barton, and that's why I'm opposing this ordinance. This could be another opportunity of public advocate, and the reason I'm bringing this up, if the cannabis store comes in your neighborhood, God forbid, even this fails and new ordinance comes in and it happens to be in your neighborhood, who do you have to represent in the planning and zoning board? None. how many people from that particular neighborhood you will be able to bring into the council meeting, because the council won't be able to help. We'll do the football match here. We'll say this is zoning issue, this is planning issue, and all that circus will start. So this is all, again, this is protecting our interests regardless whether you live. And again, another public advocate, it's very important for this town. Unfortunately, it didn't go through last year, but this is the time for us to look at so that we can protect the interests of the taxpayer. I think, I covered, most of my points, and I will be voting definitely no to change of this ordinance.
So we're going to take a look at this here from all sides. Not sure exactly what that's going to look like, but we will hear from all sides. And I will, to the concerns about this being brought up again in the dead of night, not while I'm sitting here is that going to happen. I would not allow this to be in the dead of summer when people are on vacation. So as long as I'm sitting here, as long as I'm council vice president, I would not allow any amended ordinance or a brand new ordinance to come up when nobody's looking. That ain't going to happen. That's not going to happen.
My only thing is that I'm hearing what everyone is saying. I do agree that if this comes back up, it needs to be reevaluated and modified versus how it was currently presented, and done so in a rollout that is much more open and informative.
And it was because I spoke to hundreds of our residents, and hundreds of them did not want this in the neighborhoods, okay? There were 3 or 4. We might have one here tonight. But there were a couple, but a majority of the residents didn't want it. And that was one of the reasons why, when this was first proposed to be put on the agenda, I voted no, I believe with Councilman Patil, because we went through this before. Now, with that being said, this is all on the south side of Edison now, and it's not on the north side. But I will tell you this, I would fear that it's going to, if we approve it on the south side, they're going to move it to the north side. I mean, we all know what government does. And that's one of the reasons when everybody ever heard me talk about a ward system, that's why. You need representation from your area so that the people is what gets spoken up at this dais. Now, with that said, I'd like to, we've been given, and the public, I assume, have heard, that we're going to receive $500,000 a store, or whatever the number may be. I want the public to really think. I know, I'll put it this way, some of you out here I know have businesses. I know you personally. So I know you have businesses, but just think of this as a liquor store. If there was one liquor store in Middlesex County and they generated and gave the township $500,000, right? $500,000. If every other town in Middlesex County opened up many other liquor stores, so now you didn't have one, but you had 10, each town would only get $50,000. You're not going to sell more liquor because you opened up more stores. So the money that's quoted that Woodbridge is getting, Edison is never going to see. And at the end of that, even if it's $50,000, as anybody here knows, and I scream at the business administrator when we're spending $20,000 over. Money does matter. But does it matter when we change the quality of life in our community? Does it matter when you lose property values in your community? All those reasons, I'm voting no tonight.
It was about adding locations near to the residential areas, and that's what people were opposed to. When council decided to bring this ordinance, they did not seek stakeholder input. When you have a party at your home, outside, in your neighborhood, you check with your neighbors. You go to the police department. You close your road. You have to close your road block. You have to get certain permissions. What you did not check with the residents, the people of the town who voted for you. the same people of the town moved to Edison or were in Edison from very beginning in this wonderful town that we live in for quality of life and the wonderful schools. You disregarded, you did not check with the Board of Education. You disregarded the will of the people and you disregarded the Board of Education. You did not check with one single school principal, one single teacher, one single staff member, one single parent. There are so many Democratic and Republican committee members. They are both being told that you guys are eyes and ears of the community. Not one was consulted. After the ordinance was put, Democratic committee members, Republican committee members, as well as several members from the Board of Education or other bodies, and these residents who voted for you, approached council and wrote several emails to express their opposition. For days and days, there was no response. Finally, on Sunday, a response from you came to several residents in email. I still did not get your response by email, by the way, in my email. I don't have it. I checked my spam folder today. I did not have it. That's okay. That's fine. Many people posted it on WhatsApp and Facebook, so I get it. But yesterday, Board of Education voted to send to council that we are opposing this ordinance. On top of it, the Board of Education created an ad hoc committee realizing that this issue tomorrow could get worse to tackle the vaping and substance abuse crisis in our schools. That is exactly called as seeking stakeholder input. Involve everyone. Involve the people who voted for you. Involve everyone. Everyone is your family. Involve everyone. About the committee, I see it's yourself, Councilman Poyner, and someone else, right? Councilman Brescher and Councilman Patil has stayed with the residents and fought for this ordinance for 2 weeks, and they were not part of the committee. That's totally unacceptable. My request here is to involve a greater stakeholder committee for future, not only for this ordinance, but everything. It is democracy. In the beginning of this meeting, when there was a huge ruckus over here, and everyone was expressing their opinion, why did it take 15 to 20 minutes to settle down? Our guts would be, these people voted for you. Guts would be, all right, what do you guys want? Let's give it to them. These people voted. These are the residents. These are the taxpayers. Let's give it to them. It's for them. You are a council member. All of you are for them. They are the ones who vote for you. They are the ones who pay your taxes. They are the ones who send the wonderful talent and wonderful kids to the Edison Public Schools, which raises our property values. Right? So my request is, in the future, please involve the stakeholders. I have said enough about the stakeholders in my letter to the council, in this speech, and in several comments that I have made. Please involve people before making any major decisions. And I really thank you. Thank you, Mr. Brescher. Thank you, Mr. Coyle. And thank you, Vice President Harris. And thank you, Mr. Patil, who have right now said to vote no. Thank you so much. We are at such a relief. We really appreciate your gesture. Thank you.
Do the right thing, recuse yourself, all right? And I just found out from the social media that when the ordinance was introduced, it was a blank, because the actual location was a blank until, 24, 48 hours before the meeting. So I just go back to Bureau's point. You need stakeholders' feedback. We knew when the first ordinance was passed, there was a lot of discussions and stuff. Why this one was pushed in the last minute? It's just really not the right thing to do. So we have, in the township, we have a liaison committee with the school board, right? So when we move forward with this, I hope that's a discussion, that's a point, the topic you discuss with the school board, get their input before you move forward with this. And also, if it's possible, include some of the school board members or the other stakeholders in this committee. Not because just you guys, you need feedback from the other people. Obviously, you guys didn't do a good job. That's why all these people are here to express their concerns. So please, next time, get the feedback from the stakeholders. That's a keyword Bureau used. Stakeholders. You guys work for them. You guys are paid by them. Every one of you guys are getting paid because these guys here.
I've done in Middlesex County a lot of years working with young people, and I put 25 years in working prison ministry in the Middlesex County workhouse. So I've seen some things. And it's very encouraging to see everybody here taking the stand they are. I'm in agreement with them. And I just want to say, just recently, I just sent a friend some THC, which is a derivative of cannabis, because he's dealing with cancer, and it will help him. So I understand the medical benefits, but you don't have to open up a dispensary in your town for people to get the medical help. And as far as the aspect of money is concerned, let me just say this. I'm going to be very blunt and strong. This is a big problem all throughout the country when politicians get in these positions and they want to raise money. Okay, raising money by drugs, not good. Raising money by prostitution, not good. When you take in money and it's throwing somebody else under the bus and hurting people down the road, especially our young people, you are prostituting yourself. That's a prostitution. We are in a crisis in this country. We've got a border that drugs is pouring in, and who knows how many terrorists. And town after town and city after city are fighting Marxist progressivism, and where they want to keep legalizing drugs, legalizing the things that are hurting people's lives. So I think as a town council, rather than, well, how can we pass this or how can we make this happen, we need to figure out ways of how to clean up Edison so it's cleaner than any other town in the area. Now, let me say that. What good is cannabis going to do? It's going to do a lot of bad. What about the young people? I see this as an attack on the young people, because what these people said is here is true. As soon as you open up a dispensary, people go in there and buy it. What are they going to do with what they buy? They're going to buy a bunch of marijuana, then to go where the kids are hanging out. Hey, look what I got. Listen, I had nephews that he wanted to make a business selling trees, he said. It was a big thing in Buffalo. And there's such a big drug problem there and so many other places. It starts many times with pot. That's what happens. It's going to affect the young people. So I never knew a young person that started smoking pot, and his parents came to me and said, wow, since Johnny's been smoking pot, he's so much more obedient to me. Or how many people do you know that, wow, since I'm smoking pot, I'm a better driver? I have a friend that he told me, he says, you know, when I was young, I smoked so much pot. I says, well, you like it then, right? He says, no, I quit. I says, well, why did you quit? He says, we had such great ideas. I says, and? He said, well, we were too lazy to do anything. We just wanted to sit around and get high. It isn't any reason why years ago they used to call pot dope. Because people that smoke a lot of it, they do get dopey and lazy and munchy. I want to get the munchies. We don't need that. We need to find things that help our young people pull up, because if we don't, we're going to lose our country.
Council President, I hear the argument. It will generate more revenue. First of all, I like to know what makes anybody think that money will be spent more virtuously than the money that we already give you through our taxes. I also wish that this much effort by the administration to put out an ordinance and have something like this passed was put towards things like cleaning up our roads, putting more patrol officers on the street, making sure our town is safer, having subcommittees for things like that, than doing subcommittees for cannabis. it just tells you where our priorities are. They're just so backwards. And it's from the top down. And I'm disappointed by the administration would put this much effort, and knowing the feedback that the administration's getting, to not put their efforts towards the more important things that matter.
So you just said that, sir, it's coming from the top, and it's so despicable that paying so much taxes, income tax, real estate taxes, you're still lacking money, and then you going to cannabis, just giving that argument that we need money, why we are losing revenue, and Woodbridge is collecting taxes on the cannabis. You are being elected by these all gentlemen to keep our streets safe, to keep our community safer, not to destroy our society and just spreading the cannabis stores, more stores just for the revenue. We have already highest real estate taxes, and you're still lacking money just because this is just, you have to look for how to run the town. It's very, very despicable point that we all have to come here and request you not to have that cannabis store more open. Thank you.
No, it's all about Edison. It's not about demographics. It's not about brown, black, or white. It is about entire Edison. Everybody here is concerned about Edison, is only concerned about Edison. So please, in respect of the time, I think I have 30 or more seconds. Please make sure that you also cater to the time and get this onto a vote today and knock it out. Thank you so much.
Mr. Brescher and Mr. Patel did explain, gave very good arguments, and said no. Mr. Biral Patel, thank you so much. He also tried to do this before this ordinance started. He also explained it, but you did not listen to the Board of Education. Awesome. Then I want to come back to your email response to few residents. You really think that 600,000 which Woodbridge collected, how much did they sell? Was it medical or was it recreational? Do you have any count? Second, do you think that was an appropriate answer to give to a resident that I'm opening a cannabis pot shop because I want to get more money in, and you did not care about what it will bring in the township? Second, who picked the committee members? It's you, Mr. Coyle, and the mayor? Is it legal? Like, how do you guys pick the committee members? Why Board of Education was not there? Why none of the committee member was contacted that we are making a committee for this cannabis? Why do you guys want to come in and put your thoughts in? Why we were not called? It is you, one more council member, and the mayor. How good is that? Third, cannabis is regulated by New Jersey by voting, which was done in past, right? It was voted not for residential area. It was voted to legalize cannabis in New Jersey, not to open this in the residential area. Just I'm making your reply clear. And finally, I want to say, just like I said before, like the military is protecting our country, you 7 are protecting our community. You all should do your job well, else you can step down.
Thank you, Councilman and my fellow citizens. They have expressed their opinion already. They spoke my mind. I'm not repeating all those things. I'm a resident of Edison over 3.5 decades. I'm proud of Edison, and I tell everybody that I live in Edison, and Edison has great school system. My daughter went through, and my grandkids are attending the Edison schools. They are A+ students. I'm proud of them. When I heard about this ordinance 2 weeks ago, I was shocked. And I felt very low. And I started to question my own intellect and my fellow citizens' intellect for electing you and placing you in these seats. Did we do right thing? Do they have right mind to even bring up this ordinance? This is not right.
Well, I'm going to tell y'all the difference. When they said 57%, 67% people voted for cannabis, no, they didn't vote for cannabis. They voted for the decriminalization of cannabis, all right? because there was a lot of young people who smoked one joint and went to jail for 10 years with a bunch of murderers. So that's why they voted. Councilman Brescia will tell you, because you have
point
to
of
be
order,
here.
that statement's
you have
false.
To be, excuse me.
It's false.
I have the floor.
Yeah,
I have the
let
floor,
her-
and I
she has
know
the
what
floor.
I'm
It's a
talking
false
about because I'm
statement.
from the black community, so don't you tell
They
me.
voted for
okay?
cannabis.
Excuse me?
Okay.
Listen, he don't know what he's talking about. I know what I'm talking about because I'm from the community
Okay.
that was
We will have
criminalized.
order.
Okay?
We will have order. She is
Okay.
recognized.
So we voted for decriminalization. We did not vote for pot shops and all that, because if we voted for that, then them same people that came out of prison, they should be the ones getting paid for all their 10 years and everything they spent in prison. And for them not being able to go to college and finish that because of one joint that they had. And that's what the people were voting for, decriminalization. They were not voting for pot shots. They were not voting for all this extra stuff, these candy, these gummies, all this stuff, okay? And the reason why they felt that way was because when the opioid crisis came about, everybody treated that differently, all right? So people who have children who are in danger because some other kid gave them a pot or either a lollipop or a gummy bear or something like that. I know most of you young people, because you don't know the history, and the other person that's cutting in on me, he doesn't know the history. See, I am the history. I know during the 80s. I know when everybody went to jail. Okay? So don't tell me what I don't know. You can read what you want to read, but I was there. AI can't tell me. I know what happened. So decriminalization of that was just to allow those people to get their expunged so that they could enjoy a life and go to college and have a better life for themselves. No, none of this stuff about all these pot shots and, oh, we're going to make all this great money. Please, please. I'm an educator, and they told us the same story about the lotteries, okay? And your school taxes are not any lower. So that was just a joke. So this other thing, you think we making $250,000 or something like that, stop spending like a drunken sailors. Stop spending like that, okay? It's inflation right now. Why are you rushing spending money during inflation? Why don't you wait till it cools off? You don't have to do everything in one day. I'm sick of us spending the way we're spending. We're spending crazily. We're not taking care of the things we need to take care of. And so we all of a sudden want to get a pot supermarket. So, okay, everybody come in and everybody buy pot. So we already have problems in the neighborhoods of people stealing catalytic converters, of people knocking on doors. They telling you, watch out for the scams. Then we want more people walking through the neighborhood, high and ridden with pot? Come on, y'all. You can do better than this. I expect more from you.